Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me with this? Is this okay? Yeah. I noticed Geshe-la was wearing it around his neck, and so he's speaking with this in front of him, but you can hear me okay like that down there? Yeah, cool. It's a bit complicated with hair. He did, of course, he was so wonderful. I don't know, did any of you come to the weekend teachings? He's just amazing, amazing, amazing teacher. And I got so much from it. And one of the most important things, we're always going back to the basics, no matter how complicated the topic was, which was emptiness, doesn't get much more complicated than that. And boy, 2 whole days, he was just amazing. One of the things I took away that is so simple, I keep thinking, it makes me laugh every time I think of it, that our happiness doesn't depend on what's going on around us, the world, the situation, the dramas. Our happiness doesn't depend on that at all. It depends on the state of our mind. Simple, state of our mind. And if we work with our mind and understand that we can choose to stay, we call it equanimity. You can stay stable and grounded in equanimity while everything's going on around you, if your mind is trained enough not to keep running after your thoughts. The thoughts are what get us sucked into unhappiness, suffering, all sorts of things. Like this is what I do. I catastrophize about everything. I just do it. It's just like my instinct. I catastrophize. Everything is much worse than it really is. And, was such a great, simple thing. Our happiness depends on the state of our mind, not what's going on around us. And we can do something about the state of our mind. And I just thought, wow, that's so simple. Even though the topic was incredibly, well, he teaches in such a simple way, but that was one of the main things I got. I thought, wow, we all need to keep remembering that. We can work with our mind. We can. We're able to, We can't do much about what's going on somewhere else out there or with other people. We can't really change that, but we can change our mind. And I thought, simple and amazing. So thank you, Geshe-la. He was sitting here in a chair, so fabulous. Fabulous. And even though emptiness is an incredibly difficult subject, the way he taught he's used to Westerners. He's used to traveling and seeing people like us who are, pretty, I don't know, pretty random, pretty all over the place often, and he was just enough. So we're here to do some meditation together. So good that we can. And we need to leave the door open because the lock isn't working and yes, so here we are. So welcome to Buddha House, everybody. Closing our eyes, pardon me, as usual, same old thing. Thinking about why you're here. Why have you bothered this morning? Why are you here? Maybe just paying attention to things that are going on in your life that you're having difficulties with. Things that are upsetting you, things that you feel you can't deal with, things you're not managing very well. Things that are going on in your life. people that you love, people you're close to, thinking of them. Including them in your reason for being here, and your creatures, your animals. Including the strangers, people that make your life safer, more comfortable, easier. Those people that grow our food, people that fix us when we're broken, mind and body. People that show us there's a different way, perhaps. The strangers. People who are sick in hospital. People recovering from disasters. Strangers involved in war, conflict all over the world. We just get to hear about the most, perhaps the most extreme, where people fight with missiles and drones, all sorts of invisible things that just come and drop from the sky, that sort of weaponry, and thinking of those people that are still fighting with sticks and throwing stones, because that's all they've got. Those people involved in conflict, desperate, starving, poverty, no water, no toilets, nothing. Those strangers. We include all the animals that we eat. Not taking their lives for granted either. Acknowledging that we're eating a creature that was once living. Making it mean something other than just going to the supermarket and looking for a nice bit of leg or something, bit of breast, bit of something. That's how often we see meat, that it's just stuff at the supermarket. We don't like to go back thinking about where it's come from. No. I don't like thinking about that. We let other people do that for us. So acknowledging all those creatures you see going off in the trucks, all the chooks, even all the pigs and the cows and the sheep going off. We don't like to think any further than that. We just go to the supermarket and there's our chop, or our bit of this or our bit of that. Very important to acknowledge that. Not just take them for granted. Then we include those people that really we just can't manage at all, with people that we find beyond. We cannot understand them. We do not wish to understand them. They're people who cause suffering to others consciously. Consciously harm others. We include them as well, always. And those political leaders who start off with the best intentions to be of service to the people they represent, but somehow, because they lack wisdom, they get further and further away from that and more sucked into power, position. They get further and further away from their humanity. We include those people as well, the political leaders, wishing that they may change, develop wisdom. Develop wisdom. And then we decide to use this time. We make a decision. We're going to use this time to practice meditation, doing our best, no matter what's going on in the rest of our life, no matter what's going on in the rest of the world. Working with our mind, because we can. Our mind. Training our mind by doing one thing at a time, letting the thoughts go by, seeing more and more. We get to see that our thoughts are actually, there's nothing there. It's just a thought, comes and it goes, comes and it goes. Nothing there really, nothing. And we get so sucked into that, so involved in our thinking. Round and round and round in circles we go. So letting go of that for now, just because we can, because we're here. And if we're watching online, please make it important enough to watch. Someone on the weekend who watches this in Bendigo. How great that was. And watching online, please make it important. And I said, do you always hear what I say about paying attention if you're online? And she said, oh, yeah. You know, it was just nice to know there are people out there watching online. So please make it important. Enough to watch. Or don't. Watch it later. So thinking about why we're here, including others, and setting our motivation to make the best of this time that we can, not waste it, writing shopping lists and worrying about what someone said last night and, oh God, you know, getting involved in the drama of that, and just to be here is enough. Training our mind, following the breath, letting the thoughts go by. No matter how important they seem, no matter what significance you're attaching to those thoughts, for now, it's just a thought, just a distraction, just something passing through your mind. It starts and it finishes, but then the next thought starts before you even notice it. And this is why we're practicing meditation. We're developing awareness. And it's also called mindfulness. Mindful of where our thoughts are taking us. Mindful of our breath. Mindful of our breath. That's it. So we'll have 2 little sessions with a bell ring in the middle where we'll have a stretch if you wish, or a sip of water. So listening to the bell. Letting your body settle into the chair, onto the cushion. And feeling your body, feeling the weight of your body on the cushion. You've got a body, not just a mind, you have a body as well. Feel your bottom. Straighten your back. Roll your shoulders back a couple of times and let them drop. Opening our rib cage when we do that so we can breathe all the way down to the bottom of our lungs. Way down. Feeling our chest expand as we breathe in. Relax as we let that breath go. Our eyes are gently closed. A tiny little smile. A smile that comes from inside, helping us to lighten up, not to be so grim, earnest, deadly about meditation. Just to be here is enough. Watching the breath, choosing the breath. Not passive. This is a very active thing that we do. We choose the breath. Choose the breath when we notice. As soon as we notice we're thinking, we're starting to follow that thought, starting to get involved in that memory, starting to plan that future. Just to be here in the present, right now. That's it. So simple. It sounds so simple. But very, very difficult. And our mind will always be resistant to this. No matter how experienced we are with meditation, there will always be stuff that comes up. Always. We're human beings. Training our mind to do something it doesn't like doing. It doesn't like being ignored, our thoughts. They don't like being ignored. Thoughts think they run the show. But we're in charge. We choose where we put our attention, and that is the breath. So maybe even touch the tip of your nose. That's the spot where the breath enters and leaves the body. Way down, almost to your navel. As you expand your chest. It's up the same way, past the tip of the nose, and out again in front. And the next breath starts. So there's like a little pause in between each breath, which we're mostly unaware of. Doesn't all happen at the same time. There's a pause. As we breathe in, there's a pause. As we let that breath go, there's a pause. So becoming aware. Just becoming aware and choosing the breath. That's it. And we start again, over and over and over and over. Not a problem. No big deal. Nothing to be upset about, nothing to change. We're just noticing how busy our mind is, and we're training it. So let's do that. Starting again. Hearing the traffic. Having gratitude that we can do this. All the blessings in our lives. Smiling at ourselves. Being pleased with ourselves that we've made it this morning. Lightening up. training our mind. And because we can, we have the ability to do this. Just returning to the breath, letting the thoughts go by. Tiny weeny smile. Keeping your back straight. Plenty of oxygen as we breathe in. To the breath. We're not trying to stop thinking. We're not trying to push thoughts away. We're not trying to have good thoughts, special holy thoughts or spiritual thoughts. We're just choosing the breath. Letting the thought go past. Good thought, bad thought is all the same for now. It's a distraction. Sometimes our thoughts are particularly sneaky and they sort of sneak in from underneath or sneak in from the side, and before you know it, you're miles away. That happens. Nothing wrong with that. You notice that. You develop awareness of how those things happen, how suddenly you're miles away and you've got no idea how you got there. So that's when you lighten up. That's when you smile at yourself and you think, oh gosh, okay, back to the breath, boring old breath. Maybe even touch your nose. No matter how exciting or wonderful that thought is, for now, it is a distraction. Wanting your attention, wanting to take your attention away from the breath. So tricky. Our mind has been used to running the show with our thoughts. So now we're contradicting that. We're saying, no, I'm in charge. I'm in charge. It's a very tricky thing. And often we'll have resistance to doing this, of course. There are times when we need to be aware of what our thoughts are, but not while we're practicing meditation. This is when we not ignore them, we notice them and we choose something else instead. Just the breath. It's not about having an empty mind, emptying our mind of thoughts, no. Not about that at all. Choosing the breath. Starting again. Hearing the trucks and the traffic. Not trying to ignore them. They're going on too. Life's going on around us. Not sitting here in a vacuum, or not sitting in a remote desert island all by ourselves. No, we don't need that to practice meditation. It's just an idea, another idea. Something we've read in the latest magazine about being spiritual. So much stuff now about the spiritual path. So much stuff. We just choose the breath, start again when we notice that we're distracted. Over and over and over again. Boring, boring, boring. So powerful. Because we can. Going beneath all the stuff going on in our lives. Finding the source of peace within. Our inner wisdom. Our Buddha nature. That's who we really are. We all have enormous potential. And just putting it into practice. Just doing this simple thing, returning to the breath, because we can. One thing at a time, because we can. Not identifying with our thoughts, because we can. Start again. There's so much more than just our thoughts. So much more. Knowing there'll always be distractions. Someone talking in the next room, it's got nothing to do with us. Just a distraction. We don't need to investigate. We don't need to know what's going on. We're just noticing. Not getting involved. Letting it be. We spend so much time wanting to know what's going on around us. Being distracted. Not being able to stay with one thing at a time. Back to the breath. Not drifting off somewhere into some la la land. Becoming, not sure what the word is. We're not becoming sluggish. Some of those words sluggish, where we just sort of plod, plod, plod. We're very aware of what's going on. We're very aware of our thoughts, very aware of our thinking that is distracting us, very aware of choosing the breath. This is not about escaping somewhere else. It's about being in our body and dealing with our mind, training our mind. With our precious human body. Actively involved in watching the breath. Actively involved in letting the thoughts go past. See. Floating off somewhere, no. Grounded and stable in our body. Little stretch if you wish, or stand up if you wish, drink water. Taking a couple of deeper breaths and remembering what you're doing, remembering why we're here. What are you doing? Just, oh, that's right, practicing. Practicing together because we can. The source of peace within, not out there when the world is happier, not out there when we get that new dress, not out there when our car gets fixed, it's not out there when things start to work the way we want them to. Peace is actually within. It's always been there, but we've forgotten our inner wisdom and our Buddha nature. It's always been there, and we're uncovering that part of ourselves, getting rid of stuff that stops us from being happy. That causes pain and suffering. The thoughts that keep us confused and powerless. We're unloading, going back to our true nature, our Buddha nature. Wisdom. Peace within. Developing compassion and kindness for ourselves, first of all. We start with ourselves. Compassion for ourselves, kindness for ourselves. Our poor mind, our poor, deluded, busy mind. Clearing out some of the baggage that gets in the way of us being happy. Stops us from realizing our potential. Potential to be here for others, not just for ourselves. Here for this poor suffering world. Trusting our inner wisdom. Underneath it all, who we really are. Just remembering to breathe all the way down, taking your time with each breath. There's no hurry. Feeling your chest expand, staying in your body, not floating off. Touching your nose if you find yourself wandering too much, just touch your nose. Connect again with your body. Sometimes it's really easy to sort of float off somewhere else. You think, oh, this is great. This is so good. Oh, this is meditation, so fantastic. It's not actually meditation at all. It's just floating off somewhere. It's another distraction. Working with our mind. In our body. Gratitude that we can do this. We can. We're able to. Amazing. The opportunity to do this. We have freedom. We have like-minded people. So back to the breath. Just as soon as you notice that you're becoming distracted by something, or you're following a thought, or you're making plans, and you're dredging something up from the past, just to be here now with the breath that you're having, just that one, just the one you're having, following it, paying attention to it. And then the next breath, and then the next breath, just like that, one breath at a time. Just that one, the one that you're having. It's back to the breath. not judging ourselves, not being impatient, not disappointed when we see how hard it is to do this, just one breath at a time, just lightening up, smile at yourself. And, oh, there I go again. So easy to be distracted. And we just forget what we're doing. We all do this. Suddenly a thought will arise and we think, oh yes, that's right, no, I mustn't forget to do that. And then that means that it's away before you even know it, and you can't even remember how you got to there, which has got nothing to do with the original thought. This is the way thoughts work. They all connect to each other. They all like a long stream of thinking. A long, long stream of thinking. So we can be miles downstream before we realise what's happening. So just lighten up, smile at yourself. Oops, back to the breath. Start again. Maybe even touch your nose. Touch your nose. Just start again. With a little smile to yourself. Being kind to yourself. Developing compassion, not judging yourself. Not being mean and nasty to yourself. We do this without even realising it. It's unconscious stuff. We don't even know we're doing it. This attitude we have of not being good enough, not being able to make it somehow, not doing it right. We all have this. Notice that stuff too. It's good. And choose the breath. Start again. But it's how do we put this into practice in the rest of our life? How do we actually do it in the rest of our life when we need to? I mean, it's sort of simple here. It's quiet. Not that many distractions, really. It's actually a fantastic place to be here in the Gompa. So much easier than doing it at home. So how do we put this into practice in the rest of our life? Noticing when we start judging, noticing when we start jumping in with our opinion. Oh, I think this, and my granddaughter calls this gatekeeping. When we start gatekeeping, that I know what's right. I know, I'm the one that knows these things. Gatekeeping is a new word, apparently. I gatekeep a lot. I think I know what's right. Just notice that about yourself. Notice that. And lighten up. Away from here. When you see yourself falling into the same old criticism, judgment, disappointment, why is it like this? When you notice that you're doing that, just come back for a moment. Come back to your breath. Start again. Hey, oops, I can see I'm going down the wrong path with this one. I'll just step back a little. I'll just pause. Take a deep breath again, something like that. And notice that you're doing it. Notice before you go too far. Notice that. So how can we do it in the rest of our life? Practice. It's all about practice, becoming accustomed. Developing kindness and compassion for yourself, first of all. Not judging yourself, first of all. Finding the source of peace within, first of all. Working with your mind, first of all, before we start judging others. Seeing where that thought has come from and not following it. Saying, oh, no, no, no. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to pause for a moment and see where I could go with this if I'm not careful. See how negative that is, that thought. Pausing again and lightening up. Then, to finish, we offer the benefit of our practice together to others, always. We do this. In the beginning, we include others, and at the end of our practice, we offer it all to them because we can do it. We're doing it for them, our friends and family, the strangers, and even those people we can't stand. We're doing it for them too. Wishing that they would develop wisdom or could develop wisdom. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be separated from the happiness that knows no suffering, and may all beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment and anger that hold some close and others distant. I dedicate the merit created by myself and others to the great enlightenment, and may the precious Buddha nature not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. Perfect. Perfect timing. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Big stretch. You, everyone. So good. Thank you. See you all next week. Or tonight, if you're coming to the public talk. So fantastic. Gosh. One of my big problems is attachment. I get so attached to things I know. Yeah.
Yeah, getting a bit late today. They decided to close a road up on my street, and I couldn't get off the hill.
Oh, no.
So I had to wait and wait, and then had to turn around and go back down and come down
did
the
you?
freeway and all the way around. I thought,
Oh, no.
yeah. So
It never
got here,
matter.
though.
Doesn't
I,
matter.
know,
if
I
you're
was
late.
really not.
You
I
just
was really
sneak in.
concerned about coming in late.
Oh,
So
don't. Never
but I
be
came in
concerned, darling.
quiet.
Just come as late as you
I
like.
need to come on Tuesdays. I
Come
need it.
as late as you like.
Thank
Because
you.
you've made it.
I apologise for.
Oh,
anyway,
no, no need to.
Now I know, but I just
Yeah.
thought, oh, the door was open. I thought,
Oh, look, perfect. You made it.